What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another review video. Big shout out goes out to Circooter for reaching out to me for the second time and asking me to review their brand new electric scooter. This is the Landturbo Pro model. And so far, from first impressions, this thing looks very well built and I can't wait to try it out. In this review, I'm going to go over the specs. I'm going to do a speed test, a brake test. I'm going to ride around and talk about the riding experience. And we're going to take it on a little mini off-road trail that I have over here because I am at the world-famous VoltedAdventures testing grounds. There will be chapters down below, so feel free to skip around to whatever part is of interest to you. But first, let's get started with the specs. So what we got here is the Circooter Landturbo Pro electric scooter. It features a 1000 watt, 1250 watt peak hub motor in the rear, coupled with a 48 volts, 15.6 amp hour battery. Circooter claims that this should give you a range of up to 34 miles depending on riding mode and riding conditions, of course. We have 10-inch by 2.75-inch air-filled all-terrain tires, coupled with mechanical brakes front and rear as well as electronic ABS. We have dual arm suspension in the front as well as a rear shock for a smooth, comfortable ride. This scooter also has an adjustable handlebar stem to accommodate different rider heights, as well as a very unique folding mechanism for easy transportation and storage. Up in the front we have a quad LED headlight that's very bright, and in the rear we have a tail light with an active brake light. This scooter also has turn signals as well as 360 ambient LED lighting, which is really nice. The total weight of this scooter is 59.5 pounds with the max load capacity of 330 pounds. And up on the handlebars we have our front brake, our thumb throttle, and a bell. In the center we have a nice display with all of the information you'll ever need. And over on the left side we have our rear brake, on-off switch, mode selectors, turn signals, and a horn. And that is pretty much it for the specs. Now, as far as the price, this scooter is currently going for $799, but I might have a discount code for you guys. I'm not 100% sure. Make sure to check that out in the description along with a link if you're interested in the scooter. Now, before we move on, just a few things that stand out to me right off the bat. The build quality of this thing looks amazing. The second thing that kind of stands out is this lock-in mechanism, and I hope you guys can see that. I've never had this before. It feels much more secure than the typical latch system. The latch system works fine, don't get me wrong, but this one is like a screw-on. So you unscrew this thing, and then this little like latch comes out, and then the scooter can fold. I won't go through the whole process. It's pretty straightforward, but I just thought that was interesting because I've never had that before, but it feels very, very solid. The next thing is this adjustable stem. The mechanism feels very solid, and that allows you to pretty much customize the scooter to the rider and their height, which is really nice. You're not set to like a standard size and that's it. You can kind of make it fit you. I really like that. Now, another thing that I really like about the scooter, and I've never had this before on any scooter, I did not mention this in the specs section, but underneath this bell there is a hidden Find My Puck or whatever it is. I don't think it's an Apple one, it's just a generic one, but you can connect to it through your app and on your phone, and you're able to track the scooter wherever you are, which is pretty cool. And the fact that it's hidden right here in the bell, genius, absolutely genius idea. So I really like that touch. And the last thing I really like is this footrest area. I did not mention it in the spec section, but I love when scooters have this. It just gives you more options for different stances or whatnot. So I really like that. Alright, now before we do our speed test, I just want to show you the starting procedure. It is pretty simple on this thing. You hit this power button for a couple of seconds, the scooter will turn on. I really hope you guys can see the screen well. It is very bright out, and the screen might flicker because of the frame rate differences, so I apologize if that happens. But we have 4 modes on the scooter. First mode is walk mode. If we hit this S button, it will cycle through the modes. We have eco, race, and sport. Sport being the fastest mode, and that is exactly what we're going to test right now. I got my GPS app open and the speed reset. Sweet, put that in my pocket for safety. And let's see what we can get out of this scooter. Okay, takeoff is very nice. And it's an immediate start. What I mean by that is through the app, which it does come with an app, you can change it and you can have it be like a kick scooter where you have to give it a little kick before it starts going. I like when the scooter just goes. And let's see, scooter shows 32, which is the max speed on this thing, but I'll go to the end of this road. Wow, it's so windy. Really windy today. I hope that won't affect our top speed, but my GPS app is laggy sometimes, and I want to give the scooter the benefit of the doubt. Let's see what our GPS has to say. Okay, so our GPS is showing 29.2 max speed. I'm not sure if it would have gotten faster if I had more room to go. So 29.2, but I'll give the scooter the benefit of the doubt because I know that GPS app is a bit laggy, and I believe I would have reached a higher top speed, perhaps 30 miles an hour if I had more room. But 29.2 it is, and that was our speed test. Now let's do our brake test, and a few things before we do that is these are mechanical brakes and they can be adjusted to give them more bite or less bite. This is how the scooter came out of the box. I did not touch the brakes. Second thing is they're brand new and they will only get better with time as they bed themselves in. But with that being said, let's go ahead and give it a shot. I'm gonna try to be at 20 miles an hour when we hit the brake zone. So there we go, we're about 20 miles an hour, braking in 3, 2, 1. Oh wow, actually pretty decent. So that bush right here, that little bush is where I start braking, and from that bush to over here we're talking about 10 to 12 feet or so. But let's give it another shot just for science sake. Again, trying to make my way up to about 20 miles an hour. Okay, scooter's showing 20, braking in 3, 2. Oh wow, you know what, it seems about the same as the first time if I'm not mistaken. So roughly 12 feet of stopping distance from 20 miles an hour. And that was our brake test. Now let's talk about the scooter itself and the riding experience. As I mentioned earlier, being able to adjust the height of the handlebars is really nice, and I got it like perfect for me. As far as the scooter itself and the ride, feels really nice, very solid. You can like carve on this thing. You get comfortable with it pretty fast. The geometry is excellent on this thing, and the scooter has plenty of torque, plenty of power. It's not going to completely yank you back, but it definitely has some power. Now if I hold down the throttle for, I believe it's about 5 seconds, we'll hear this beep. There it is, you hear that? That means cruise control is enabled. I can let go of the thumb throttle and the scooter will just keep on going. Personally, I love having that feature because sometimes you're like on a long haul, long road, long stretch of road, and it could be a little annoying constantly having to have your thumb on the throttle. So I like that feature, and it does get turned off as soon as you hit the brake. Another thing is you can definitely turn that feature off if you don't like it through the app and just disable it. As far as the suspension, this scooter is really soft and the suspension is super plush on this thing. I'm going to show you that right now so you can see for yourself. Alright, so this is what the suspension looks like on this thing. Look at this. Really nice, and you can have a lot of fun on this thing. I'll show you without eating it, but you can. That is amazing. So as you guys can see, this thing is really fun. Now I'm not an expert in wheelies and things like that, but if I can pull it off, you can pull it off. Now as far as turning radius, let's see, I mean it is a scooter, it should have an insane turning radius. Yeah, look at that. Turns on a dime. As far as space and things like that on the board, it's fairly large, especially with this footrest area. I'm a size 10, but this shoe is rather large, and I have plenty of room for both my feet and feels very comfortable for me. But now let's see how this suspension handles our little mini off-road trail over here. Oh wow, Nice, we can see the trail again. They recently went through here and cut down everything, so it's really nice finally. Now, oh, there's that cruise control, and we're flying with that cruise control. Now the suspension feels amazing on this thing right now. Amazing. This trail is deceiving on camera because it never shows it, but it's full of ups and downs. And here's our first uphill or hill climb, and it did this with no problem. Wow, we're absolutely cooking. Beautiful. Oh my god. Yeah, this thing's handling this area with no problem. No problems at all. That is so good to see. Suspension is working so good on this thing. Handled it with ease, I might add. Wow. Alright, now usually I like to stop, especially after that off-road section, and like assess the situation and see if anything got loose or how are things holding up. I am mainly concerned about the lock-in mechanism, which is as solid as could be. This is super solid. Yeah, this thing is a monster. Really fun scooter. Alright, well, this was a super fun scooter. I really enjoyed this review. But now let's do things I like, things I don't like, and is this thing good value for money or not, and we'll give it a rating as well. Let's start with things I like. There are many. I really like the quality of the build. Very nice. I like that screen. I like being able to adjust the handlebar stem. I like that locking mechanism. It does take a bit longer than the typical latch system, but it's much more secure. I absolutely love the suspension on this thing. It is very nice. I really like the amount of power that this thing has. I mean, we all want more and more power, but this is like, it's perfect. You know, if you're commuting or doing like light trail work, this is perfect for that. I really like having that Find Me hidden in the bell. That is just a genius touch. And I really like the lighting system. The front headlight is very nice, and having brake lights and turn signals, that is amazing. Now, things I don't like, and in this case, it's not really things I don't like. It's more like things that I wish it had, and I'm talking about the brakes. Now, the brakes work well, but if this thing had hydraulic brakes for the same amount of money, it would have been a 10 out of 10, which is insane. That is pretty much the only thing I dislike about the scooter. Now, is this thing good value for money or not? For $7.99, and I might even be able to get you guys a discount code. I will do my best. If I do, it will be in the description along with the link. It is a very decent, very good value for money. And if this had hydraulic brakes for the same amount of money, I would say that it's excellent value for money. Now, do I still recommend the scooter? I 100% recommend the scooter. It was really fun. Now, what score / rating am I giving this thing, considering me testing it, the price, my experience, and all that put together? I'm gonna have to give this scooter an 8.5 out of 10, which is a really good score. Now, I'm pretty sure I was able to go over everything there is to know about this scooter, but in case I missed anything, please leave a comment and I'll do my best to answer. If you guys want to see more of these reviews, and there are plenty more coming, definitely hit that subscribe button. But that is pretty much it for me, guys. My name's Tom. This has been the Circooter Landturbo Pro electric scooter review. I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.